What are file sharing and piracy? File sharing is the distribution of and/or providing access to digitally stored information, including computer programs, multimedia, audio and video files, documents, and electronic books. Piracy is the unauthorized reproduction and distribution of such digital content. It is a violation of copyright law that protects the manufacturers, copyright holders, and publishers' exclusive rights of this digital content and prohibits unauthorized use of copyrighted work. Methods of file sharing: manual sharing, hyperlinks, and peer-to-peer. The following are some methods of file sharing: the manual sharing of removable media, accessing centralized computer file server installations on computer networks, using web-based hyperlinked documents, and using peer-to-peer networking. Peer-to-peer networks are among the most popular methods. Types of file sharing: audio and video files, e-books, documents, and computer software. The Internet provides alternative methods of file sharing. Peer-to-peer networks are among the most popular methods. The user of such a network downloads a program that connects them to a network. This program allows the user to search for and download shared files on other users' computers. Any type of digital file can be shared in this manner. Distribution of large files by peer-to-peer networking is done by way of a BitTorrent. Files are broken down into smaller portions and are then transferred to the user depending on the fastest possible connection to the missing pieces. At the same time, the user is uploading the pieces they already have to other users. Multiple users have multiple pieces of the file, and each user is a source for a portion of the entire file. The BitTorrent allows for the sharing of large amounts of information by dividing it into manageable portions, finally resulting in the entire file being received. Newman examines the advantages of peer-to-peer networking to specifically the TV industry. He says that TV accounts for half of BitTorrent traffic, and clearly many viewers are substituting downloads for other forms of access. In 2008, Lost was the most torrented show, and its most popular episode was downloaded more than 5.7 million times. The industry worries that this distribution stream will drain its profits. File sharing can also be achieved without peer-to-peer technologies through the use of file hosting services. A file hosting service is an online file storage service specifically designed to host static content, such as large files that are not web pages. Copyright: files protected by copyright being shared without permission. The legal issues surrounding file sharing have been subject to ongoing debate. Armbruster discusses the conflicts and compatibilities of digital scholarly publishing in a knowledge-based economy. The concept of sharing does not fit with copyright. He says non-exclusive and non-market scholarly peer-to-production could coexist with the exclusive property and commercial publishing industry because free sharing was limited to a few typed, later printed copies shared with close colleagues and a conference audience. Online, with diminished marginal costs of dissemination and services that are free to authors and readers, scholars can share their working papers and preprints with the whole world. He says that free sharing in the public domain is incompatible with the publishing model based on exercising exclusive rights, that is, the transfer of copyright from author to publisher, followed by marketing strategies that seek to maximize rent-based copyright. For example, bundled subscription and site licenses, pay-per-view charges, and digital rights management. Montagnani and Borghi looks at the challenges of digital revolution raised to copyright law. They state that there is a dual outcome. There is an extending and strengthening of copyright law in the digital environment, and there is a contracting of the public domain. They say, while commercial exploitation persists in the traditional framework of exclusive licensing management managed by intermediaries, non-commercial dissemination tends to minimize intermediation and to adopt a more flexible instrument of web-based licensing. This dichotomy gives many hints to the rethink of the current policy on copyright law. The emerging move towards non-commercial dissemination of creativity via web-based licensing systems which do not neglect authors' desire for recognition and in some cases remuneration is not meant to replace the law, nor should it constitute an alternative to copyright. In this context, non-commercial dissemination of creative contents is no longer a minor and secondary phenomenon. Rather, it represents a key factor in sharing of knowledge and to some extent becomes a pillar of a new style of creation and distribution process. The economic impact: declines in sales for the media industries. There is much argument about the economic impact of illegal file sharing on the media industries. Copyright holders and publishers argue that unauthorized downloading of digital information is damaging the economy and resulting in a significant loss in their revenue. Although other studies suggest file sharing is not the primary cause of declines in sales, De Keyser and Lipinski cite the case of A&M Records Inc. versus Napster Inc. in their examination of the commercial exploitation of copyrighted material. Recent case law focuses on commercial exploitation as opposed to the mere commercial nature of the use. However, commercial use need not encompass profit-seeking. In the much publicised A&M Records Inc. and Napster Inc., the Ninth Circuit concluded that the purpose of individuals who participated in the sharing of music through Napster technology was indeed commercial, because it saved them the expense of purchasing authorised copies. File sharing advocates and opponents. The file sharing networks and services and individual users versus the groups fighting to have the network services shut down and prosecute individual users. The Recording Industry Association of America announced that it will no longer issue lawsuits to illegal downloaders. Instead, it plans to cooperate with local internet service providers and send notice of complaints followed by reduction or ultimate termination of their internet service if they continue to share. Elkin regards this announcement as an acknowledgement of a practice that had been failing for a number of years. This is not without its own practical and moral issues, and it has been suggested all along with ample evidence that this announcement may entail much more than lip service. However, if the RIAA continues its ineffectuality vis-à-vis piracy and its alienation of the common consumer through the recession, we might see the entire American music industry at the top of a list of failures in a few years.